How can I get your gear? How can I get the perfect items to make your builds? These are the most asked questions in the comments on my channel, and today I will show you the fastest method how to get them for every build every week. To understand why I can get the gear so fast and easily, first I will show you how the randomizer really works in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. For a calculation, let's pretend we want the perfect Persian warrior helmet here with warrior damage, critical chance while full health, damage with swords and daggers, and damage with swords. That is basically the best warrior helmet you will want when you play with swords. It gives you 50% damage with swords, crit chance and warrior damage. When we count the possible engravings for headgear, we have 20 possible engravings that can be randomly on our gear. On the first spot there can only be warrior, hunter or assassin damage, so we have 3 options here. Then we multiply that with 20 options for the second spot, then multiply it with 19 options for the third spot. The third spot has only 19 possible engraving options because we cannot have another 20% crit chance. It's not possible, so we have one less option for the third spot. So the raw chance is 1 to 1140 when you calculate it all together. But that's not the entire truth, because we have to divide it by the number of permutations. For the items it is not important in which order the engravings are. So the last 3 engravings can be in any order and you can just complement the engraving which is missing. So that gives us a total number of 6 possible permutations. For the first 2 possible permutations here you can simply engrave damage with swords. For the other 2 you could simply engrave damage with swords and daggers, and for the other 2 you can just engrave the 20% crit chance at full health. That means any of these 6 items could give you the perfect warrior helmet. So we have to divide 1140 by 6. And that gives us a chance of 1 to 190. That means that on average you have only to check 190 epic helmets and you will probably get it. Of course it can be even faster or even take a little bit longer, but that's the average. 190 checks. But sometimes you want to have a legendary engraving on the last position. In that case you only have 2 permutations for the other 2 engravings. Here are the 2 possible permutations, and when we calculate 1140 divided by 2, then we get a chance of 1 to 570. That's exactly a 3 times lower chance to find correct items where you want to put legendary engravings on. Especially for weapons, it can be difficult to find them. Okay, now you might think a normal chance of 1 to 190 for items that don't need to have legendary engravings is really great. I will just go and loot everything and I will get it. But that's exactly not what you should do, because there are 12 different item types in the game. So you have to multiply 190 by 12 to 2280. So you will have to loot 2280 epic items to randomly, probably, maybe not, maybe yes, get the epic helmet you want. So that's a huge number. So I do not recommend to loot items because of the distribution. You will get anything. You can get a sword, you can get a dagger, you can get a blade, you can get a helmet, a torso, you can get legs, arms, and you cannot determine what you will get. So looting is the worst option. It decreases all your chances by the factor of 12 because we have 12 different items in the game. So when you do wall runs or fort looting, we pretend that you get an epic item every 30 seconds, which is still very generous. I have tested multiple wall runs. Depends if you have looted the chests yet or not in that fort, but let's say 30 seconds for getting an epic item. 30 seconds multiplied with 12 multiplied with 190 gives you 19 hours until you will find, on average, the perfect epic helmet from looting random gear. So even if there's a story creator mode quest that gives you an epic item every 15 seconds, it will still be 9.5 hours until you will get, on average, the perfect epic helmet. And don't forget, you will also have reload times, you will have to sell your useless gear, and that is all time that comes additionally on top. That's why I say stop looting. Do not get your items from looting forts or doing wall runs. It's a waste of time, you will never get it. What I use and what you should also do is reloading blacksmiths. That is best done in Arcadia, in the city of Tegea. There are 2 blacksmiths next to each other. Then there's also another spot in the city of Patrai. There are also 2 blacksmiths relatively close, a little bit farther away next to each other. And there's also a third option in Argos. These are the farthest away, so I recommend to go for Tegea first, then use Patrai, and if you have also already purchased an item, then you can go for Argos as a third option. So when you go to Tegea, the first you have to create a manual save in front of one of the blacksmiths. You have to do that before you talk to him. And you also have to make sure that you haven't visited the city for 1 day or at least 6 hours of in-game play time, so that the blacksmith has 2 complete new inventories. In fact, you can talk to every blacksmith twice. So you can see 2 inventories, 2 different inventories. And that is basically doubling your chance on getting the perfect helmet. The whole reload cycle will take around 90 seconds, including talking to every blacksmith twice, checking both inventories, checking all the epic helmets for correct stats, and then reloading the save game. That's 90 seconds with around 8 checks. So most of the time they have 2 epic items per check on average. Sometimes they have 4 or they have 0 or they have a rare gear, but on average you can count with 2 epic items per check. So that makes 8 checks in 90 seconds. And when we multiply 90 seconds with 190, our basic chance to get the epic helmet, and then divided by 8, we have 35 minutes until you find your perfect epic helmet. That is more than 30 times faster than looting gear. And that is just the average. You can even find your item after 5 minutes. And even if you look for multiple items at the same time, you can just go to the blacksmith, you can look for a sword, for a belt, for a helmet at the same time. And all that can be done in 90 seconds. Of course, maybe it takes a little bit longer when you check more items, but you can go and get your gear so incredibly fast. It's insane. I think everybody has to know it. Stop looting. Do the blacksmith brute force method. I'm not sure if you were able to follow my explanations, but I hope this demonstrates you how much different it is when you do the blacksmith method, and I just encourage you to do it as well for your own good. If you like this video, please subscribe, leave me a comment, and see you next time.